Oh, and Dorothy?
Yes, Doctor?
Dr. Reed here has just returned from the front. He served King and Country and will be joining us here at Pembroke. We're very lucky to have gained a surgeon of his talent, and one so experienced in blood transfusions.
That is good news indeed, Doctor.
Oh, yes. Here at Pembroke, it's not what we have, but what we haven't. It's only thanks to Nurse Crane and the staff that our ship doesn't sink. If you have any questions, just ask her.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Your assistance is required, Dr. Swansea, immediately.
Welcome aboard, Jonathan. We'll catch up after my rounds. I'm coming, Nurse Crane. I'm coming.
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the seeds of life. Drink at this river, dry it all.
We'll have a word in my office later, Jonathan.
It's locked.
Oh, come on, you bastard. I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse.
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
Not tonight. Not like this. I will not take another life.
It is wise for the huntsman to sometimes let his prey go, but no famished hunter can run for long.
Surely I can do. What happened? Did I black out?
Where have you been? I've little time to play hide-and-seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I found a wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of Clay Cox. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit. I'll ask our porter, Milton, to bring him back immediately.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
I would like to ask a few questions. What kind?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would...
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I...
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better...
Apologies, I've...
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon.
And Mr. Hampton, the...
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep.
If you could point me in the direction of...
Second floor of the hospital.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Easy does.
See them fancy clothes? This one's a top! Watch out for them teeth! Christ! He's dead! That's what you do with me.
It's locked, all right.
Look at it! Fix the fucker!
I cannot enter. Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody. It's locked. Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famed...
Do we know each?
Actually, yes. We met once before.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember.
He was also very confident about your future.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are...
Tell me more about...
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is...
You really seem to admire her skills.
Oh.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve.
Ah, yes, the burden of command.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good
What is the Pembroke Hospital?
This hospital is not...
It's not exactly the best situation in London.
Don't be misled by appearances, Doctor.
What is the...
This hospital...
It's not exactly...
Don't be misled.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
This is no time for self.
The patients are not fools. They know
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir.
Did he really?
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion.
I see. Well, I'm a little...
You must know.
I'm not familiar with all the staff.
Brilliant professionals. Most of them.
Most of them?
It would be inappropriate.
Is there any...
Well, I have never met someone...
Why should his age be...
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself...
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know...
No. I may disagree with...
How are things?
Not good, to say the least.
An invisible enemy?
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks...
Do you think this hospital can survive?
We are all volunteers here.
Do you think this hospital...
We are all...
I'm not familiar.
Brilliant.
Most...
It would...
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance. Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No. We must keep on healing.
Nurse Brannigan is...
She should not have told...
You don't have to blame her.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear.
You're exhausted.
No.
Nurse Brannigan is... You don't... Goodbye, Dr. Tippett. Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks.
That's quite a blunt.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my...
I'm not sure I understand.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be...
You have a keen eye.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital?
I've been an ambulance driver since...
Since you're on the front line...
It's a complete disaster.
It sounds like things have been...
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing in.
You left an infected patient?
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor.
How is the situation?
You want to hear the situation is all right?
Are you really smuggling?
And why not? I've already been attacked by
But you're not defending yourself.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable... Perhaps I should have considered it.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to...
Goodbye, Milton. Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening.
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim...
If it wasn't...
Dr. Tippett...
If you're...
How are things here? Do you...
We are all...
I'm not familiar.
Brilliant...
Most...
It...
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance. Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research. Good evening, sir.
Unless you're here to fix my face. No.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head...
You guessed right, Doctor.
Where were you staying?
I really don't want...
No offense. I was pushing to...
You were an officer, weren't you?
How is your stay with...
Oh, it's bliss.
Can I ask you precisely...
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work.
Can I do anything?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills.
Who is treating you?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me.
You don't seem worried.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry.
Goodbye for now, Mr. L. Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed.
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency.
You keep calling me mortal.
Well, Dr. Reed, if you...
And why do you believe...
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am.
Please, describe...
I can hear my body crumble from the inside.
I see.
Never?
It's...
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even...
I'm assuming you must be a patient.
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies.
Who are these enemies?
I cannot say for sure.
The staff here are not your...
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of...
I see. Don't worry.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are...
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft?
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal?
I'm curious to know who you were.
No, it was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy...
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark.
Time has lost its effect on me, but the suffering continues.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you...
Dr. Reed, is it?
Ah, what do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory.
You remained perfectly nice.
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton?
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhausted.
You're in good hands here.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest.
What do you do for a living?
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really. But I recognize Miss Harriet Jones.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke?
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender?
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helper.
People are still...
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing.
Who should I avoid in this part of town?
Not really. Most men and women are just
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the dockers' trade union. The wet boot boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behaviour. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Hello again, Dr. Reed. I feel better already.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. It's locked, all right. Good evening, Dr. Tibbets.
Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Dr. Tibbets.
I wish I could be sick again.
Be sure we're making a difference.
This hospital seems to be falling apart. What can I do for you, Doctor?
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Good evening, madam.
It's my son who needs you.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Gos...
What can you tell me?
Not much to say. Just take...
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest.
May I ask if you have...
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more...
What do you think of...
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since...
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect that...
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital.
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start.
What do you mean?
She...
She charged you?
Yes, and I paid without...
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
This hospital seems to be falling apart. But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No.
Really? Why are you here, then?
I don't want to talk.
His throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here.
Yes.
Could you at least tell me your name?
Mortimer.
How painful?
So painful I'd rather not.
I'll let you get some...
I'm alright. Don't waste it.
Good evening, Mr.
I'm okay.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
How painful?
So painful.
I'm sure you're...
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not...
Yes, maybe. But
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Pembroke Hospital...
It's not me you have to convince.
Is your mother...
That's tempting, Doctor.
How painful.
So painful.
I'll let...
I'm alright. Don't waste your time.
Good evening, Doctor.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Never could keep anything from her.
Good evening, sir.
I don't know if a third opinion is needed.
I see.
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I...
Tell me about the doctor.
Strickland and Aykroyd.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with Rob.
Tell me about you.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed.
I was more curious about what you were doing.
I'm a carpenter. And a good one, too.
Are you satisfied?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to...
I won't lie to you about it.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed?
In other circumstances, you would be right. Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
Oh, sweet girl.
How can we be sure we're making a difference?
Never could keep...
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to...
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea I am Thoreau Strickland. Dr. Thoreau Strickland.
Please, could you...
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning...
What made you...
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired... This epidemic may be the century...
I based my technique on my mentor's research.
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain...
You're not the first one to warn me. But I...
What can you...
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea.
You seem quite optimistic.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test.
Questions remain about our...
True.
Do you need help with it?
Well, yes, maybe.
Do you want me to play the...
Oh, no, Dr. Reed. But if you...
I see. Well, give me the address for... Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me, Mr.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr.
But why would he hide such crucial...
Because he is a proud father.
This personal involvement could also...
I agree.
But that does not... Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human being.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland. Good evening, Mr. Fitt.
Good evening, Doc.
You seem worried about the safety of your family.
I cannot give up on my children now.
What about their mother?
She died in 1915 during one of the first Zeppelin raids.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey.
My wife died because of me.
You can't hold yourself responsible.
Of course I didn't hurt myself.
How could your job be...
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got...
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all...
Tell me about the doctor.
What I...
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
My sweet girl. Reads me like a book.
What can I do for you?
If you could point...
Second floor of the hospital. I get...
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you.
Tell me more about your willingness.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe...
What is it you really want?
It's a fair question. I want nothing.
Goodbye, Dr. I cannot enter. Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate.
I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation.
It's locked.
I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same manner as your...
It's locked, all right. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague? Are you a doctor, too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Do you work here?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
Why do you have to...
Because these poor fellows have no names.
Why close the...
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic.
Are you afraid or...
Why should I? These bodies...
An interesting point of view.
Sir, as a medic during the war...
How did you get...
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the...
Have we met?
I don't think so.
When we first talked, you said you were glad to...
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here.
A pawnbroker?
Yes, sir. All kind of people.
What kind?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to...
Who comes here to trade?
I'm very cautious, sir.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles...
Do you think you would enjoy immortality?
I don't think so. Don't mistake...
Do you really believe goodwill?
As I said, sir, everything decays.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you?
Yes, but the good news is we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
So you're ready to die?
No, I'm not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chidam.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man. But I like to think otherwise.
Please show me what you...
Of course. It's just trinkets and curing. It never ceases to amaze me how you...
I cannot enter. Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you?
I need blood, Doctor.
I'll leave you, Mistress. Good evening, nurse.
Good evening.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Well, it's a euphemism.
How would you describe this?
It's serious. The flu is
You must get up.
Sorry.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last for...
I wish I could believe you. But what if this...
How is the Pembroke staff?
Not well. Milton, the ambulance...
Why does Milton...
I don't know. Just ask him.
Why is Milton...
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation.
How long?
Or long enough to see that the epidemic is winning.
You'd be surprised what dedication...
Sorry, Doctor.
How...
Or long enough...
You'd be... Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.